Hello to the folks at the Cambridge Stream Festival and the Cambridge Arts Council. My name is Jason, and I'm here with members of Extinction Rebellion Boston's art working group, and we're going to talk to you about a cool art project that we've got going about boat making. I'm going to tell you more about what Extinction Rebellion is.
Hi, I'm Leslie. I'll be talking about the concept of the XR UK pink boat and its history.
Hi, I'm Niels, and I'm going to ask you to explore your history the last time you were on a boat.
Hi, I'm Cecily, and I'm going to explore the symbolic meanings of the boat.
And my name's Amelia, and I am going to demonstrate how to fold a paper boat that you can then use to share messages of climate resistance.
Hi, so Jason again. I'm going to talk about what Extinction Rebellion Boston is, and more broadly about what Extinction Rebellion is. Extinction Rebellion is a distributed worldwide movement of everyday people like you, me, who have aligned vision and follow the same principles and work together toward the same demands. I'll talk about those a little bit more in the slides to follow. We aim to initiate systemic change to address the climate and ecological crisis that threaten the survival of all life on Earth, because we believe it's the systems that we have that have put us in the very, very difficult position that we find ourselves in right now. And unless we do something about it soon, we're running up against some pretty strong currents. And we do use the principle of nonviolent civil disobedience and undertake nonviolent direct actions to achieve our goals, like the civil rights movement of the past. We believe this is the most effective way to wake people up to the real danger that we're facing. And so on the artistic element, this is a nonviolent direct action that took place last September around the same time that the student strikes were really taking off at late September. And this was Flood the Seaport, where we had about 400 or 500 people show up. And the goal of this action was to illuminate the climate crisis to the broader community. And you can see like there's a bunch of, artistic elements here, like banners and flags, and there's this big dome in the center, and a huge banner got hung up on the Cross Bridge. This is the Congress Street Bridge in downtown Boston. It was like a party. It was like a really fun day, but some XR rebels actually blocked the bridge off, at the two ends and sat and wouldn't allow traffic through. And the police decided just not to do anything because it was a party. And so this was a nonviolent direct action, technically, but we aim to do nonviolent direct actions that include artistic elements. They include messaging elements about our demands, which I'll get into next. But it's great. And so that's why one of the reasons why I joined Extinction Rebellion. So here are our core demands. First, that the governments have to tell the truth by declaring a climate and ecological emergency, working with other institutions to communicate the urgency for change. We should act now. We need to act now. And we need to act now to halt biodiversity loss and reduce greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by 2025. We have to get beyond politics. We need to create better decision-making and organizational frameworks to decide how our societies are going to evolve into the future. We propose using citizens' assembly, which is a governing body that it's along the lines of one person, one vote. And climate justice is critical. We're seeing this right now. It's that a just transition that prioritizes the most vulnerable people, racial justice, and indigenous sovereignty, and establishes remediation led by and for communities suffering environmental injustice. So that's a short introduction to Extinction Rebellion, Boston, and Extinction Rebellion writ large. If you are interested in learning more about this movement, you can go to XRMass.org, and there's a lot of great information there. So thank you.
Hi, streamers. My name is Leslie, and I'm with XR Boston Artwork Group. And I'm here today to talk about an inspirational video that was created by an artist in celebration of the April anniversary of the UK Rebellion in 2019. Subsequently, that video inspired XR Boston Artwork Group to put forth an art action this spring. Here's a short piece of the inspirational video. Thank you to the artist and all she brought to us. You'll want to play this again and again. I'll share the screen. The XR book, This Is Not a Drill, an Extinction Rebellion Handbook, Chapter 18, page 115, describes the use of roadblocks. First and foremost, the pink boat was a roadblock. It draws attention, gets people to come in close, take pictures, film videos, post on Instagram, share on Facebook. The boat itself served as a creative platform. Dancers danced, poets read, storytellers told their stories, and musicians played music and singers sang. The facilitation from the deck of the boat decided the course of the action and the resistance. It was all the center of a wonderful, peaceful, and creative party. Creating that show and stopping traffic is the key to nonviolent direct action. And it influences a lot of people. Within Extinction Rebellion, we call this the civil resistance model. The boat is heavy, it's large, it's painted a great color pink, and I'm going to share a picture with you now. You can see that the boat is named after a Honduras activist named Berta Cesares. It gives the boat international attention, as this is an international movement. Berta was murdered for her environmental actions, the last of which was a dam project that would impact sacred lands. She was targeted as an Indigenous woman. It is so wonderful that it is created as a memorial and a seed of inspiration like Berta herself. One key note in the chapter that the writers James and Ruby note is that 4 murders occur worldwide in the majority world every week of environmental campaigners. So the boat illuminates all of the above, draws attention, entertains, and sends a message. And our paper boats itself, wherever they're posted, can also serve as the action itself. The pink boat in Oxford Circus was there for 5 days. It took 5 days for the authority to remove the people from the boat, to to move the crowd from around the boat and to move the boat out of the square. As the people drew closer and closer together, they began to chant, "We have more boats, we have more boats." And as the boat was taken away and finally removed, a banner was revealed, and the rebels declared on the banner, "We are the boat." And together in chant, they led, "We are the boat, we are the boat." So I'm encouraging you all to make your own paper boats and become the boat. Become the boat and float them in peace and in love. I'm Leslie for Extinction Rebellion, XR, Boston.
Before we begin this exercise, I want you to take a moment to think about the last time you were on a boat. What kind of boat was it? Was it a large boat or a small boat? Was it fast or slow? Were you on an adventure? Were you scared? Were you going somewhere? Or just hanging out? What were you wearing? What was the weather like? If you've never been on a boat, think about the time you were playing with a boat as a kid. Was it in a bathtub or in a pond? Then think about if you were on a boat and you wanted to send a message to the world. What would the message be? If you could put a message in a bottle and send it out to sea, what kind of message would you want to write? Would it be about climate? Would it be about justice? Would it be about hope? Would it be about your fears? Think about what would you want to say to the world?
Hi, I'm Cecily. When our Extinction Rebellion art group started thinking about this workshop, we thought of the boat as a relatively simple symbol. Maybe it stands for strength, for movement, for transformation. But as we talked about it more, we realized it's a more complicated symbol. It holds contradictory and complex meanings. We talked about it and came to think about the fact that boats, particularly an empty boat, can represent the perilous journey of migrants searching for survival. Boats are part of international shipping. They're integral to global capitalism. They're used to move fossil fuels and consumer goods all over the world. Boats were key to the African slave trade. They're used for slave trade to this day. Knowing about all of this complexity only made the boat a more interesting symbol for us to use to get out the messages of Extinction Rebellion about the climate crisis and also about social justice, which is fundamental to the XR movement. We know that we're not all in the same boat. People have different levels of privilege and different levels of risk. But we are all navigating in the same sea, and we will all face the same storms. So we want to work together to try to chart a just course, to try to join in a flotilla instead of a lone boat sailing in a stormy sea. These are some ideas that you can think about when you're folding your boats. Does your boat represent escape, rescue, voyage, shipwreck, resiliency, courage? A boat is a vessel. Fill yours with your own intentions.
Hey, so I am here with the Boston chapter of Extinction Rebellion in the Arts Working Group, as you know. And I'm going to show you how to make a folded paper boat that can hold messages of climate resistance, resilience, fear, concern, and education. It's a really simple project. All you really need are a piece of copy paper. Letter size is good. Anything that's thin that you can easily fold. It could be a reused piece of paper too. It's a great way to use up your scrap. And something to mark it with or write on it. I'm just going to use a Sharpie. So I've just scribbled over this side of the piece of paper so that you can see where this color comes out in the final boat. If you have like an old flyer or something that's colored on one side or that has messages or designs that you like that you want to show through on the final boat, I'm going to show you how to fold it so that that design comes through on the hull of the boat. And if you wanted that design to come through on the cabin or flag of the boat, you could just flip the paper over before starting so that your design, instead of being on the inside when you start the folds, is on the outside. And then it should get to the top cabin or sail part. Alright, so first thing you do, you just take your rectangular piece of paper, put it in portrait orientation like this, and then take the top of it, and just fold it to meet the bottom, like it's touching its toes. Alright, so I'm lining up the corners and the edges there. I'm just going to crease that in half. It's nice to have a crisp crease. Just makes your subsequent folds a little easier. Great. Now I'm going to take these two sides that I'm holding and I'm going to fold them in towards each other. And this is just a temporary fold. I'm just going to fold along this left-hand side for me on the left. Just a little bit. You can go all the way actually. But basically this is just a fold to show me in the next step where that center is of this part of the paper. So in the next step I'm going to take this corner and this edge of this left-hand flap is going to come right to the middle of that crease that I just made. So right to the center of the piece of paper lining up straight. That's why I creased it to begin with, so I knew where the center was. Crease that again using my thumb or fingernail. You can tell it folded well because this folds easily, but there's no space between this flap and this page that's folding up. I'm going to do the same thing on the other corner, just folding that edge in to meet and creasing. Now, I'm going to take these two flaps that you'll see and fold them up one by one so that they meet that place, that line where those two flaps, those two corner flaps that I just folded in, where those hit the paper. Just kind of pull it up till you feel it, crease it, and then flip it over and do the same thing. Alright, now you have a shape that's pretty similar to this shape, although obviously not all the way there. The next thing I'm going to do is one of the more complicated steps of the fold. I'm going to take the sides of this shape and kind of squash them up using the folds that already exist in the paper so that I get this diamond shape from those. Here, I'll give you an inside perspective. So looking into the guts, as it were, of the paper, this is the top of a mouth, like the top lip. If this is the bottom lip, it's a face going ooh, like making an ooh sound, so that the lips go so far into an ooh or O shape that the top and bottom lip become the new creases of the mouth, and the creases of the mouth become the new top and bottom lip. Kind of sounds like a weird horror movie trope. Anyway. So you're left with this diamond shape, and these flaps here, you can just tuck one under the other, like you're tucking in the sides or lids of a cardboard box. Doesn't matter which one. Alright, now the next step is I'm going to take this bottom point of this diamond, and I'm going to pick a point along the center crease that I see here. I'm just going to fold that point right up to that selected point that I make on this crease. The reason I'm doing this is because leaving this amount of space right here doesn't have to be an exact number again, but leaving that space allows for the the sail or cabin of the boat to peek through above the hull here. So this space allows this space to exist. Flip it over, do the same thing. Easier to line up the bottom edge with what I've already folded than to try to match the height that I chose before. Crease that. Alright, got this weird trapezoid diamond looking thing. Next step is the horror mouth movie fold / squash fold part 2. I'm going to take the corners here and again squash them so that those sides now become the new faces. And from the bottom of this is the upper and bottom lip of the mouth. It's going ooh. The corners are coming in and making the new upper and bottom lip. And this is the face of your new form. And actually at this point I'm almost entirely done. I just have to take these wing-like shapes on the sides here and just very gently pull them. And my boat reveals itself. You can crease it at the bottom, you can kind of fold it out so that it sits on a tabletop. Then you can write your message on it.
I am recording right now. I'm recording right now. So, right. And now we're going to show you some of the messages that we put on our boats. Our future is too big to fail.
Tell the truth.
Declare a climate and ecological emergency.
Chart, adjust course.
Save our species.